Okay, let's dive in then to what building supporting relationships actually looks like. Okay, this is so foundational. How do we do it? What does it look like? What does it feel like? One of the key concepts I want to emphasize is what I'm calling input determines output. And this is something that Greg and I have been saying to each
Well,
other
since we
since we
dating.
were dating,
Yeah,
pretty
since
much.
we were
Yeah.
dating, we were always like input determines output. Input determines output.
And what that means to us is that whatever we are putting into our minds, essentially,
Lives.
our lives, is directly creating what is coming out in our lives. So, as this relates to parenting, whatever you're putting into your mind and heart is coming out in how you parent. I mean, it is also very much connected to your way of being, but it's also connected to the family culture and environment and, the whole energy you're creating, right? So that's why I feel that it's so critical in this building supporting relationships level because it's affecting the environment and the culture and all of that. But if you think about this, it's I mean the classic example is the computer. If you program a computer or AI, like you can't if you don't the saying they have is garbage in, garbage out, right? Like you can't if you put in crappy programming, you get out crappy outcomes, right? Um Same thing with like a garden or soil. If you're We have a bunch of fruit trees out here we're trying to
Some of
grow.
you have seen our soil. And you're like, you couldn't grow anything but
Yeah.
rocks there.
And we tried to plant some trees in this soil and
It
this
sticks.
now we have sticks exactly because they died. If you have bad soil, you can't get a fruitful fruit tree. We know this firsthand. And then also this other idea that I like because I'm going to expound on it a little more is if you think about like a lab, a science lab, and you're trying to do a lab experiment. If you do not have the right environment, if you don't have the right tools, all the right things to produce, to do this experiment, you're going to get poor results. So, I want to talk more about how we're trying to create this extraordinary family life experiment. We have to have the right inputs, the right environments in order to get the best results because otherwise we're just doing bad science, right? So, um,
Yes, yes, I love it. Some days we are being bad scientists, aren't we?
yeah.
Like some days we are just not doing the formula right. Oh man, I could just geek out on this. In fact, I have a file I started like 15, maybe even 20 years ago called IDO. And it's just
Input
literally
determines
input
output.
different numbers out,
Mm.
but every single aspect of our life is affected by this, like food. The kind of food you eat produces the feeling and experience in your body. If I were coaching you, and I do this with my coaching clients, and if I were coaching you specifically, let's say I was coaching your family. You guys hire me to come and coach your family. I'm gonna look at the music playlist. I'm gonna look at the movies you're watching. I'm gonna listen to the jokes you're telling. I'm gonna pay attention to sarcasm, to tone, to media. Are you listening to the news? What kind of news? When you're getting online, like what are you consuming? Because all of it is having an impact, whether we're aware of it or not.
Now,
Down to music and lyrics. It's wild how much it affects our lives.
now, I want to add at this point that there is an element to this where sometimes we do. Well, I mean, of course, if we live in the world, we're going to get input into our lives that isn't always positive, happy, good, etc. And sometimes we may intentionally take in input that does not make us feel positive, happy, good, right? And so there is an element where processing in between. There is input and it does determine output, but there is a place in there where you can process to choose the output you're going to put out. Right?
Let's say, for example, hypothetically, some of you have, I'm sure none of you have experienced this, but let's just imagine some of you have extended family members that maybe are a little toxic. Yeah, we'll just pretend. And you go spend time with them because you know you want to be a good family person. And after a few hours,
More minutes.
I
Just kidding.
think I could murder somebody. I'm going crazy. Right. And so that's an example of like, okay, and now I need to like go take a shower and process and like, like, get all this out before I try to do any parenting. Because spending time with those guys is
Yes. Uh, that's true. But I also like, because when you're talking about movies and music, because we will watch movies that have bad, quote unquote, stuff because it's teaching an important lesson. It's not about the perfection. It's not about not allowing anything bad in it all
well,
because there is this level of processing the information. Now, what I would say is that the younger they are, the more important it is. But as they grow, like what I'm saying is my 20-year-old will listen to songs that have swear words in it. And I'm not going to be like,
but that's not what you're talking about.
I know, but it relates. I just
So
like I want to not be
give a
misunderstood
better
by people of
example
like
here.
kids never listen to music with swear words.
Well, just to clarify, e- we might be misunderstood,
Let my 11-year-old listen to it. Let's say that.
but we're also Rachel loves to bring this up.
I just have to
So
be
you always bring it,
authentic and
but it's not like then you'll be misunderstood. Our kids aren't listening to trash. They're not.
so,
But
some people might say it's trash. I mean, I don't know.
okay, but like a good example of like, should we listen? Should we watch a really sad movie? You're like, well, if input determines output, then we're never going to watch anything that's sad.
Yeah,
Well, no,
that's a good
there,
example.
there's a place for a super tragic movie or book. Right? If you're like, well, I never want to have like disturbing feelings, so I'm never going to read the classics. Right?
Because they're
Because
depressing.
you read Charles Dickens
Or
or
Anna Karenina.
yeah, oh yeah, Dostoevsky or Tolstoy, and you're like, golly, that's depressing. Even Les Mis, right? Les Miserables, my all-time favorite book. That's not like fuzzy, warm unicorn stories.
Yeah. Well,
It's
even
like gut wrenching. So you're like, wait a minute, Dennings, are you saying we should only like have rainbows and unicorns as input? Well, no, at the right
this
age,
is what we're trying to say.
those hard lessons are important.
But at the same time, if say you went to your house and you're like, my family's all depressed all the time, and you're like, well, no wonder you're only reading the classics and only
Well,
watching depressing movies. Ah,
usually
that's
it's
too
like
much.
your your teenagers are listening to gothic, you know, metal, rock, and
We
you
yeah, we
know,
don't listen.
yeah, it's like, "Whoa," and playing like violent video games. I'm like, oh, well, this might be affecting their mood,
Yes.
right? Things like that.
Okay,
Is that enough
that's our
examples to
I know, is
confuse you
that our
completely?
clarifying there? We didn't get into the actual thing. I just wanted to clarify on that because I don't wanna be misunderstood. Like, I want you guys to know that this isn't about perfection, it's not about protecting them from everything bad and evil in the world, like, it's not about that, but it is still about being intentional and being aware that, "Oh, okay, I was letting my teenager choose their music, but oh, they seem to be depressed all the time now. Maybe I need to intervene a little bit more because they're making poor choices that's affecting their personality, right? That's the balance there.
Let me share an example that I have seen 10,000 times working with teenagers. They're having a really hard time being happy or positive, and like almost without exception now. I go in, I'm like, "Okay, tell me what you're listening to." And it is dark and discouraging and just bad. They're not sleeping. They're staying up super late and getting crap sleep, usually combined with crap food. And then what they're consuming on social media is really negative, really dark, complaining, whining, life is horrible, the world is ending, nothing's worth living for. Like that's the triple, it's not the trifecta because they're not winning. That is like the triple, what do you call it? The trio of death
Terror?
and depression and like misery. And I'm not exaggerating.
Doom.
Yeah,
Trio
it's
of
the
doom.
trio of doom. It's like they're going into the pit of despair, and I'm not kidding. Like I've seen this thousands of times. And so when you come like, oh, I'm like, okay, let's look at your music, your sleep, and what you're consuming online. Those are, and food. Those are four relationships that are not
Input.
supporting
Mhm.
that adolescent
Yeah.
in this case.
Okay, and how long do you wait before intervening? Um,
For me, it's 30 to 60 seconds. Sometimes,
I what
but
no,
I don't drop the hammer.
but see, that
No,
almost
because
sounds like helicopter parenting too, like,
I'm not sitting there waiting. It's like we go to the gym and they're like, check out this new song. And it's throwing a song while we're working out. And I'm like, whoa, pause. I'm not like getting after them. I'm like, did you hear what they just said? They're like, wasn't that a great song? I'm like, wait, did you hear what they just said? They're celebrating crime. They're making a horrible lifestyle sound cool. What do you guys think about that? And they're like, my kids are like, yeah, that's really stupid. I'm like, yeah, that's really stupid. What a dumb message for a popular song. Man, what effect do you think it's having on all these millions of people listening? Wow. Right. And so it's a lesson. It's just a lesson to teach.
I actually just let the song play because here's why, I've told you before, often we give interpretations to the music that our children don't, simply because they don't understand the same concepts, and sometimes I feel like I spoil that for them when I tell them exactly what it's saying. I think I told you guys before that when I was a kid, I had this song that I loved, and to me I was, like, 12, and, to me, I'm like, "This song is about me and my horse. I love it. It's my favorite," and I was singing it and everything, and my mom's like, "That's about a woman having an affair." And I was so devastated, like, "But this was my horse song." So, that's more my thing. But back to your question, though, I I think you missed it because I was explaining before, like, Atlas had gotten in a bad mood earlier, and for me, I I want to let them experience emotions. I'm not gonna go in and rescue them every time they're sad or grumpy or upset about something. So I'm gonna let it kinda play out, but if it goes on for 2 or 3 or 4 or longer days, I'm intervening. I'm not gonna wait a week or a month or 2 months or longer. I'll start intervening, and even if intervening means I'm paying attention to, "Wait a second, what is he doing with his time? What is he listening to? What is he reading? Like, what's causing the bad mood?" And then I'm gonna start having those conversations of like, seems like you've been listening to a lot of depressing music. Is that affecting your mood?" And I try to not make it like accusatory. It's affecting your mood. It's like, I wonder, is that affecting your mood? And then we have a conversation about it. Yeah. So I don't wait too long, but I also don't jump in too soon.
If they eat some junk food, not with
Yeah, we
so they
wait.
eat something, they come back like, oh man, I feel like crap. I'm like, why? Because I ate that garbage. Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
right. Choices have consequences.
All right. So
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 soft
I
intervening